Can you see that, Bibbo? Can you hear me now? You need to text me because I can't hear you. All right. Oh, this is actually the old one that I broke. Can you tell me if this is loud enough to hear? So, last week we were playing with this, and I broke the bottom off of one of the pins. It's actually the fourth wheel. Oh, hold on. Let me get some of the stuff ready. The end of this little wheel, the little pin on the end of it, broke off last week. So, this movement is missing its fourth wheel, which would go right there. And it's also the second hand right here. So this thing's kind of just freewheeling right now. I put everything else back together except for this. So this one is dead unless I wanted to harvest that wheel from something else. This week's whole project is learning from that and trying again. So I still have the movement, but it's going to become a dead / donor movement, I think. And instead, you got a new one. You'll also notice there's some pretty big differences between these two. Look at this. So this is the new and the old. So the new one has 3 unique bridges. The barrel bridge here. And it also doesn't wrap all the way around. If you look at this edge here, this is like protected along this edge, and over here it's just open and exposed. But it should be a little bit easier to deal with because it has 3 bridges, and specifically the escape wheel, which is the wheel that's connected to this little purple pivot right, no man, right there, it has its own bridge. So I only have to line up 3 of these holes. I also only had to line up 3 over here, but the train wheels are all on the same bridge now instead of the center wheel being attached to the barrel bridge. So that's the biggest difference that's going to be in these ones. But anyway, let's get started. All right, so garbage one, you can see it doesn't move. This one is moving. We'll put that one away for another time or never. I also decided to get this out today for scale. I've watched a bunch of videos on this over the last couple of months before I decided to actually get into it, and it's crazy how small things actually are, and I never appreciated it until I had it in front of me. So decided to add a quarter for scale. We'll put this box off to the side. This also came with an hour hand or an hour gear and a shim that goes on top of the second pinion there, or the cannon pinion, I guess. Anyway, moving on. I have the disassembly steps on the screen, so we're just going to go from top to bottom here. So we will start by moving this guy out. I also think that the second hand is in a different location on this movement versus the last one that I had. Yeah, so the second hand was over here in this corner, and on this movement the second hand is directly below the minute hand. So a couple of differences with this one, but we can move the second hand, move the minute hand out of the way. Ooh, I also almost forgot I got a new toy. Where did I put it? Interesting. I seem to have misplaced a tool. There it is. The last movement, I think I actually broke it off because I was trying to pry. I was trying to pry off the cannon pinion with my tweezers. I've seen a couple people do that, and I think that I accidentally knocked over the second hand post right here and just bent it or snapped it off because I was having to try to yank on it so hard. So instead I bought this thing. It's like $10. Should help with that process. But anyway, I also don't need to wear these things, but I figured it's good practice to get in the habit of wearing them in case I ever work on an actual nicer movement. So, don't like that angle. We'll go ahead and move that. Let's do right here. So now I just gotta be very careful when I flip this thing over not to mess with that second hand. Man, those are way up there. Okay. And then we gotta do this little guy. Okay. And we are just gonna lay everything out in disassembly order here. And so I can show you that over here. I'm just gonna lay everything out in disassembly order across the top, and we will make our way across. So that's both the hands off. Now I'm gonna try this tool for the first time, so this should be interesting. Pretty sure that you just put it on there and then squeeze. Oh. These things must really be wrenched on there, because this thing does not want to work. Make sure everything looks good on it. Okay, probably equal pressure. There we go. That worked. So here's that tiny little piece pulled off, and it just friction fits onto that little barrel. So now that that's off, being very careful of this tiny little pin that's stubbed up, we will put this into the movement holder. Boop, boop, boop. All right, and I wound this thing up a bunch earlier, so we're gonna have to let down the mainspring now. Okay. So this will be, wind this just a little bit, and now we just gotta slowly, whoop. Let it slide through the fingers. And that should be all the power out of it. So now we should be able to take out the balance. Gonna move these over here a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna try to use, last time I was doing this, I feel like I was using the wrong size screwdriver for a lot of the screws. So I'm gonna try to be a lot more cognizant of that this time. So there's the balance screw. And let's get all this lined up. Okay. And then the balance should just come off now. Let's be nice and careful. Let's move that out of the way. Hold on, let me organize the desk a little here. Okay, there we go, that's better. And let's get a magnification going. Okay, here we go. Nice and gently pick up the balance. So you can see that thing is just very fiddly. And then we'll put it down upside down. Okay. Balance is off, and now time for the crown wheel, which should be this guy. Whoops, we'll go bigger. Ratchet wheel and the crown wheel. Whoops, let's go even bigger. Want to go nice and gentle here. So this one is normally threaded. Ooh, look at that. That's not good. That's not supposed to be magnetic. Okay, lift off this. And And then this one is the tricky one. It's actually reverse threaded. It's on my notes there because I would hate to mess this up at this point. So yep, righty-loosey. Very odd. That is so bizarre. Why is that? Okay, so that is the crown wheel. And then it also has a little shim on there. All right. Now the click, which is that little guy that we had to let off. Hold on, I'm gonna adjust this a little bit here. Got some new lights that are a little bit bright here. Try at 140 on this. And then there's a tiny, tiny little spring in there. Oh. All right, that's the click. Next up is the barrel bridge, which is that big one going across the side over here. So it looks like we got 2 screws on that. And we're going to use the second to biggest screwdriver here. So the one thing I'm not going to do today is try to clean anything. I will see about oiling. Although I didn't get an oiling diagram out. That probably would have been a good idea. Just for practice sake. All right, that's the barrel bridge. And now I might be able to get the barrel out, but this one has the middle wheel on top of it. So yeah, that'll come out. So there's the barrel, that's the powerhouse. So we'll go barrel next. And then we're gonna go train wheel bridge, which is the guy that goes down the middle. Although I could actually, let's see, can I get out? We're gonna try the escape wheel first here. So we'll go this, because this has a single, that's really tight. Wow. Some of these things are scary tight. So that's the escape, and I'm gonna go ahead and come in here nice and close for the escape wheel. Oh, nope. Should have gone pallet fork first. Yeah, pallet fork probably should have come off before that. So I'm gonna move that out of the way. Although I could probably also go train wheel next, so I'm going to move that aside. And we're going to do a quick audible. Leave the escape wheel in there. And we're going to change a little bit here to go the train. Okay. Take this and this, this. And then is there a lift point on this one? There is. So there's the train wheel bridge. We will remove the train of wheels now. So importantly, this wheel right here, the end wheel, that is where I messed up last time. So we're going to be extra careful there. There's the middle wheel. I believe that's what the second hand connects to, but I could be wrong. So we'll pull that out. I'm going to flip it over. And now this one, I'm going to go really gently and pull this thing up this time, because last time I broke it. Yep. So you can see that one's a bit longer, and we're going to put this thing down long side up. And we'll compare that real fast to the other one. So do you see that long pivot on the bottom? And then there's, yeah. So here is that same one from the broken one. And you can see on this side it's supposed to be long and it's snapped off. So that was mistake or break number one. And then we will take out this middle one. It's got kind of a fun little intermediate cog midway up it. Now I think I should be able to get the escape wheel out nice and gently. And then all that we have left on this side is the pallet fork, which is the thing that actually keeps time, is the combination of the pallet fork and that escape wheel. Two more screws here. Come in here and be real careful pulling this up. I kind of think I want to get one of those pair of tweezers that curves at the end for stuff like that, just so that with these ones I have to go down at an angle, where that one I could hold it parallel to the ground and it's going to curve down into the movement. But that is the, I think, watchmaker's side, but that's that side of the movement done. So I believe we can now flip this bad boy over. I don't know if this thing is going to hold in here very good, but we'll try. Okay, that worked. So the first step would be to take, oh, I think actually we can flip this over and take the crown out. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, where's the setting lever button? Should be a button over here to press to get the crown out. Let's try this thing. Is that the button? This one is actually, whoops. Get the push it in first for that thing to let go. Learning moment. Again, bad touching with my greasy fingers, but where is the button to remove that? It might just be that there isn't a button to remove the stem here, and I have to take the setting lever or this top plate here off. We'll try that. We'll just go straight to it. Here we go. I'm gonna go with this one. Gonna go a little bigger. Learned my lesson last time. I actually damaged a couple of my screwdriver heads because I tried to use the wrong size screwdriver, and it would either like jump on the screw, and then it was shearing, and then it kind of broke the tips of a couple of my screwdrivers. And so learned my lesson there. Now we'll try and pop this off. It's under tension right now. Just don't want it to go flying. There we go. So there's the cover plate. And now the infamous yoke spring. So just nice and gently get that up. This thing can go flying apparently if you're not real careful taking it out. So yeah, that's a lot of pressure. So there's that, which means I can now also take out the yoke. And then we have a couple of wheels here left. I don't know what their actual name is. I think that someone was referring to them as intermediate wheels. Gonna put on my magnifier so that I can see if these things have a direction to them. Come on. Nope, they are flat. And that one is flat. Okay. And with that, the only thing we have left is the setting lever. Ah, this is what it is. So this here, yeah, I remember this now. So it's not a button on this one, but it is this tiny little screw. It's actually a post that pops up. And so we can unscrew this, which also will make the setting lever spring fall out. You probably just saw it fall out. So here's the setting lever post, setting lever spring, and this thing has kind of a unique shape to it. Yeah, that little post, I believe, was going into the crown stem. So now that just pulls out, and the rest of it falls out. Alrighty then. And that is all disassembled. Yay! Kind of fun. And I did not get any of my oils out yet. I probably ought to, but I think we're going to put this one back together without oiling anything and then just not wind it. And then next time I'm going to go and do some research, watch some videos. I think I'm going to buy the watchmaker course that the guy from Wristwatch Revival is always talking about. I have the little oil things, but I haven't put the oil in there yet. And I also just don't know generally which oil to put where. I'm sure there's a diagram online. I have not yet went and reviewed that. So I think for starters, I'm just going to try to get this thing back together. And it should kick up, but I just will not wind it a lot so that it's not running without oil. But there's lots of spots that would probably need oil otherwise. All right, I'm going to get this thing out of here now, but that kind of gives you an idea just how small some of these pieces are. All right, here we go. And back together. Oh, please hold. Having some technical difficulties here. There we go. Reassembly? I don't like that. Please hold. Let's just Oh, it's coming from a file. Would you look at that? Forgot that I did that. Let me open that file up. 1 second, everybody. Here we go. Steps, assembly. Yeah. Bop, 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 bop. Bop. Save. There we go. That's better. Assembly steps. I'm actually going to get a drink of water. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. All right, we're back. We are back. And we're gonna start with getting the quarter out of the way. And the first step here is actually in the exact reverse order. So we're gonna take that crazy little thing that was messing everything up for me. Come on. And I think I don't want this in the holder. Because oh, let's get that. Come on, move. Because I need to flip it over and put that screw through the movement. This guy. Into that thing. So let's try this. I'm going to put pressure here. Flip this over. Ooh, this is weird. I might do this off camera. Ayah. Ooh, that is tricky. What is the trick to this? There we go, that's lined up better. Oh boy. We might have to make a pause here. Oh, whew. Thought I just dropped this tiny little piece onto the ground. Here, we're gonna zoom out a little bit so you can see what's going on here. I am trying to hold the bottom of this in place so that I can flip over the movement. Like this. And then pick this thing up. Okay, there's the hole. Right there. Oh, and it just popped out again. Okay. Gonna deep breath. Now, is there a trick to this? I don't remember being this difficult on the other movement. I do know that it has to go in before we put the bridge on. But do you know what might be easier? is not putting the lever on. Ah, I think I know. Here we go. We're gonna not try to put that on first. Okay, here we go. Here's the plan. Here's the plan. Here's the plan. Okay, we're gonna put that back up there. So that was these little guys. That's the crown and the motion works. Well, actually, most of these. This is all the motion works here. And we'll zoom back in here so that we can. And we're gonna flip this over. And we're gonna start with the installation of all of this. And the thing that we gotta remember is just to put this in so it's held in place, so that when we flip the movement over to put the motion works in, it's in there, because otherwise we got to take apart the entire watchmaker's side again. Okay, yeah, that's what the trick is. You just put it in here so that it's there when we need it, so to speak. All right, we're gonna move this a little bit so that we, okay. Now, first thing, the barrel. So, I'm gonna go wide angle here for a second. This is that big powerhouse thing that we had at the very early on. Goes in this big section right here. Should seat down pretty simply there. And then we're gonna want to put on, oh, this is disassembly steps. I'm sorry. Whoops. Bop, bop. There's the assembly. And we need to move these over a bit. Hold on. Get those in the same place as the other one was. We'll get this one, get this assembly moved over too for posterity. For the next time we try this. All right, let's go back to the main view here. All right, barrel, escape wheel. That is actually the old. So you can see there that I have the notes about the escape wheel being different. So what I'm gonna do here first actually is I will probably install the escape wheel, but I can actually do the barrel bridge right now, because the only thing tied to the barrel bridge is the actual barrel. There's no other parts that are required here. So you can see this thing is actually going to slot in over it. Boop. Just like that. And there's no other pivots that need to be lined up. So we can actually just put this guy back in now. Should be able to do all this. Please hold while I check something. Yeah. Da, da, da. I'm gonna turn on a little music for me, but not for you guys, because that's how we get canceled. All right. We're gonna listen to some Gaga. All right, here we go. Continuing on. Tighten that barrel bridge down. And now we are going to do the escape wheel. So that's this little ticker guy. And he should be this tiny little third one. So hold on, I got to get my, need to get my magnification, because this is the bit where I'm going to be very slow and very careful. And I might pull up the stream video and check and make sure I have everything correct. Man, those are some tiny little pivots. And you can kind of see it fell there a little bit, and this thing should just be, yeah, there we go. And so now we'll take the bridge that's just for that. this is going to be real finicky, but we want to make sure that we got the pin in place. Going to get even more magnification here, 1 second. And so that is not that's too much magnification. We're going to try this again. This is where I really wish I had those curved tweezers. Gonna get some smaller tweezers, please hold. Oh, you can't see that. Here we go. So imagine that should go a lot faster or for a lot longer if it was. And so we're going to tighten this down very gently and then see if we can't get this bridge to seat a little lower. Yep, it is not lined up. Okay, that's definitely not lined up still. Wow, that thing is incredibly small. Actually, I'm having a hard time seeing. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this off. I'm going to clean this off because this thing looks real dirty. And it's kind of hard to tell what's meant to be on there. All right. That is looking better. And then I want to take another look at this thing. Okay. Let's try this. Not one more time, but we're going to try it until we get it, but try to get this thing back on again. Ooh, no, I don't like that. I'm going to try something else here. Please hold. Having to have the tweezers pinched is making this difficult, so... That's not in. We are not in, but I just need something to hold this bridge from coming off. So we're gonna go ever, there we go. I'm going to go slightly a little bit less magnification here, see if I can get a better view from the side. I think we got it. No! It just fell out again. Ah! Alright, so once it's in, pressure down, then deal with the screw. Okay. Woo! And before we move on, just because that was tedious, I am going to look at the other side of that. Yep, looks good. Whew! All right. Escape wheel with the escape wheel bridge, and now we have the train of wheels, which we will start in reverse order of how they came out. So, weird square boy first, or weird multi-boy first. And that was with that piece looking up. And in this center pivot here. And then this, or this guy, which I believe was long side down. That's what would make sense. So we will flip it over. And then very gently and carefully okay. I do believe that is now in. And then we can take center wheel and place it in. I need to get better with my tweezers because I just got this thing stuck in there. And I need to gently get it out. Yeah, that was real bad. So this thing should go in there. I might have to take this barrel bridge off. Because it looks, yeah, we gotta take that barrel bridge off. There's these two little ledges right here and right here that this doesn't want to go underneath. So we're gonna take that off. Oopsie poopsie. All right. So I can just pull that off to the side. I don't need to take it all the way off. And then this guy should sit. Oh, there we go. And then this thing should just flop back into place. Oops. I'm a little shaky. I probably need some more water and food. All right, here we go. All right, that is the train and little bumps. Okay, yeah, so they are generally lined up. Now, let's clean my lens first of all. Where did my lens? Okay, there it is. Okay. And then we're going to spend a moment here lining these up and just making them look like they generally are. Okay, actually, they all look pretty good. And then we should be able to drop the train wheel bridge in. Let me pick it up first. See if I can just drop this thing down on top of the pivots here. Oh, I see all three of them in there. I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on here and spin this. Hey, that's looking good. All right, let's get these three screws in place. I'm going to keep a little pressure on that. In the name of good practice. Oh, see, that thing just came up with it. So I'm going to double check these pivots again. Okay. And just in the name of a good practice, I'm going to use not my finger to hold this thing down while I get these screws into place. And then we will snug these down loosely, do one more little gear test, and then tighten them all the way. That is very slightly too big. So it must be 160 screws. That's a loose snug, and then this thing. Whoa. You can hear that thing whistling. All right, let's tighten these guys down properly. And then I could just oil these things at a later date. Okay. All right. Is it ratchet wheel, click spring, the movement side, crown wheel. So I think we want to do all the rest of this side. So we'll go this big. See, I think this one's called the ratchet wheel, but I'm not 100% certain. It's the one that goes on top of the barrel. And I think that's the ratchet. And then the crown wheel is, yeah, I think that this is the ratchet wheel. The crown wheel is going to be the one that interacts with the crown. But you know what? I think the click is actually going to be easier to install before I put this on. So let's do that first. And this click spring does have a direction. I remember the last one of these I was working on, I was trying to put it in backwards and it just did not want to go. So we'll try this way. That is actually looking like the reverse way, but we'll try it real fast here and see. Yep, that's backwards. Totally accidentally flipped it over. There we go. All right, I shouldn't make that mistake again. I kind of understand how that thing is meant to look now. Ooh, that's bad. Okay, so there we go. And ooh, this is bad. I gotta put stuff back where they go so I get the right screws with the right pieces. There we go. I probably could figure these screws out, but let's just make sure we put them down in the right order, and that way we don't have to figure anything out. All right, I'm gonna flip this over on the ground here and pick it up the right way. Okay. Should be able to use a pretty big blade for this. And now this was snugged down pretty tight. And now that thing should. Yeah, that looks right. So now, whoops, sorry, I'm a little out of frame there. Let's go back in. Get my, trying to not scratch the top of this pretty gear. Last time I was doing this, I scratched the other one real bad. There we go, that's all seated. There we go. Oh. Bigger screwdriver. Hold this so it doesn't spin away. Ah, there we go. And now we got to get, whoops, this shim. The ratchet wheel, which let's double check on the side here. Okay, yep, it's the pretty side up. And the infamous reverse threaded wheel. And this thing is incredible. Like, there's no threads on this thing. So if you turn this thing the wrong way, even the slightest, you're going to strip it. So we're going to go lefty-tighty here. All right, and now I believe, yep, the crown wheel, the ratchet wheel, the click spring, the train wheel bridge, the barrel bridge, I think we're ready to flip this thing over and go into the other works. Although, yeah, pallet fork can be end, because that way we can actually check the keyless works with the crown wheel out. Let's do that. Ooh, wow, yeah, that thing is humming. I love that. I love that. Okay. So, this is always tricky because I'm not sure where this thing is going to grab good. Yep, just like that. Okay. Just barely grabbing on all the corners there. Okay. So, first things first, we can put that cannon pinion back on, which was that piece in the middle, which is just going to click down. So we'll get my thick tweezers here. And this thing should be an audible click. This thing always terrifies me because I feel like I'm pushing so hard. There's that click. That was way better. I will say, I would not want to try this without this thing again. This made that, taking that off so much easier. Like, so much easier. All right. Let's do the clutch wheel. And normally this would get greased up. But because we're not greasing today, and we're going to try that tomorrow, or maybe Wednesday, I don't know, we'll see. Put that in. And the sliding clutch. Make sure it's the right direction here. It is. Little, looks like a rook. And now that should engage with these little this little train of wheels. Now this thing should that's what we like to see. And we can see the escape wheel down there just zipping along. And so now we can, no, we don't want to do that yet. I think the last thing we do is setting lever, yoke spring. So do I have to put the crown in at this point for this movement? Is there not a way to get this crown out? Just do that loosely. Is that the trick here? Okay, that was not the hole. Sorry, I'm doing this up off the desk. This is kind of fiddly. Okay, well now I'm a little bit worried that I've rounded over this screw. No, it's fine. I'm not trying to put this thing in backwards, am I? Nope, it's gotta be the other way. This bit is finicky. Give me a minute. I'm going to watch a video. All right, I'm right. It's just a little bit more finicky. So we need A of all. We need the stem lined up. And then make sure it's lined up. Yep. Okay. Put the finger on it. All right, I'm going to take this off just so I can feel it better. All right, well, that thing does not seem to want to grab. I'm really worried that I've ruined this screw. You know, it looks like it still has plenty of thread. So let's check this. Hey, we got it. And I hope I didn't... Okay, we're good. We didn't hurt that. Okay, it's loose, but it's good. That's probably what we want. We want that to be a little bit loose. Okay. Whew! Okay, moving on. Sorry about that. That was 5 minutes of fiddling. Get this back on there. All right. Moving on. Yoke. Let's put this back on just for practice. Again, it doesn't really matter because my finger oils, this is just a practice movement. Normally you wear these things to keep your skin oils off of the metal, because your skin oils are corrosive. But if this thing corrodes away, it's not the end of the world. We are here to learn with this movement. And I don't know how people make this operation look so easy. I think I like the pointy end of the stick more here. Oh, I don't like this thing not being in a holder. Let's put this back in here. All right, now I can get my hand on this. All right, here we go. No, we can go back in here, kids. Whew. Oh. All right, I'm going to keep my finger over this thing until I get this plate over here now. That way if that thing decided to just pop off and fly away, I have something in the way. And with that, we're getting real close, people. Okay. All right. Now we could put the hands on here, but let's go ahead and flip this over first. And oh no, I just realized that I have been putting my balance or my palette fork, I've been bumping it a bit, which is very dangerous because this thing is tiny. Last two pieces right here. So this is the palette fork. That's the little bit that actually makes a clock tick. It's got two tiny little crystals on it and two incredibly small pivots, and this one has a little please hold. This one has a little fiber on it that I need to get off. Kind of similar to the escape wheel, we got a tiny, tiny, tiny little pivot to line up here. So this one might take me a second as well. Although that looked like that went straight in. That looks good. Let's put the screws in place. I actually want to do this again just for context. We'll get this screw real fast and then I actually had a really good size comparison earlier that I think I'm gonna go and grab something real fast and show. But that's a quarter. And there's the screw. And I got another thing that I was talking to somebody earlier about. Let me go grab it. That's a sesame seed. Want to see a crazy comparison video?
Not at the moment.
It's okay. I recorded it. You can see it later. Love you. Yeah, so sesame seed, screw for the balance bridge, or for the pallet fork bridge. Not much difference there. If anybody has advice on how to more quickly switch between loops, I am all ears, because this is a little finicky. This screwdriver's too small. That's probably a 140, I'm gonna guess. $140 actually might be a little big. And that is just softly. So now we're gonna add a little wind, and then we're gonna see if that thing will jump back and forth for us. Sure does. Not super well. That's probably down to the lack of oiling on the movement. So we'll tighten this thing down the rest of the... I didn't like the sound of that. It's definitely in the pivot on the top and the bottom. All right, so this is the moment of truth. One more piece, and it's the funnest piece of all. The balance. So, to be very gentle here. Hey, let's go! Look at that. All right, let's go ahead and get that. Last screw in place before we celebrate too much. And with that, we have a completed ST36 disassembly and reassembly. However, we did not oil or lubricate anything, so that's about all I'm gonna wind that for now. And I think next time we do this, we're gonna try to do that same thing. Yeah, and so this is the thing that I forgot about. If you see, where is it on the camera? Why am I not seeing it? Okay, yeah. Can you see coming out of this pivot right here, that tiny little pivot? Oh, there you go. You can see it right there. There you go. That is the second hand pivot. So I'm going to try to put that back on real fast. You flip it. Okay. And now we have a little tool for this. It's this guy. Although this is technically, ooh, this is actually too big for that on both ends. So I actually probably need to get something for this, because I'm gonna have to use my tweezers, I think, to press this on, which is not good. So there it's going slowly, but we'll try and get... Can I get that on any farther? Let's see. I don't love that. Let's try the smaller end here, the 1.5. And then immediately after this, oh yeah, that's huge for that. That's way too big for that. So we'll put the hand back on for minutes. Oh, do you know what we could actually do here? We could put the movement. So this is the hour wheel and the shim. We'll go ahead and put them on because we have them. Oops, sorry. So that's these guys. We'll zoom out a little bit here. So we'll do this. And normally I believe that you'd want some oils on this. But because we're not oiling today, we're going to skip it. But we will get the shim. So, hour wheel. Shim. And then the second hand, I believe, mounts down inside between. So there's a little teeny, let me see if I can show you. Get off me. So we'll move this for a second. See how the bottom side here has a very slight protrusion? That seats between those two things. So we're going to try this. Is the hour hand not all the way down? Is the crown stem supposed to stick out past that? Oof. Okay, I don't know if these hands are not meant to work. Yeah, that certainly went on just fine without the hour hand on there. So, I don't know. We'll do this. We're gonna say that this is our ST36 parts graveyard. And we will put hour hand, second hand is fine. This is a broken fourth wheel. I don't even think I'm gonna keep it. I don't want to mistake it for something that's good, so we'll probably toss that. And there we have it. Second hand taken away. We will put this back into the case so that we can flip it over. there we have it. One completed assembly, disassembly. Hooray! All right, well, if you watched, thank you. That was fun. I hope you learned something. I know I did. Until next time, maybe next time we will try to disassemble and oil it. Get it all cleaned up. I kind of want to start buying some random movements off eBay just for testing and seeing what other stuff looks like. Get some nicer, some older ones. I got actually 2 of these, so you can actually see I've got this other one here, and this is the one. Wait, which one? I think the one that I just barely serviced is actually running slightly better. So you can kind of see the relative. This one on the right here is beating a little bit faster. But that was a fun experiment. Super excited to try my next watch. In the meantime, we're going to put those away. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Maybe the next challenge will be disassembling the chronograph, which is quite a bit more complicated. So let's get rid of this for now. There's a little gunk on this case, but you can see that's the same side of the watch with a whole other set of wheels on top. So that, oh, the chronograph's actually running. So the big one in the middle is actually the timer, and the second hand is that same little second hand on the bottom. And then at the 9 o'clock position here is a minute timer. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. Thanks for coming along.